Hi, my name is Jake Crandall. Welcome to Wheaton South High School. And would you mind by starting out by introducing yourself?
Sure, my name's Robert Larsen, or Bob, I go by. I live in this area, and do you want me to tell about my background?
Yeah, sure.
So I work as an attorney actually just a couple of miles from here. I have a firm. We have about 30 or 40 lawyers. We defend doctors in malpractice cases. Before that, I was in the Marine Corps for 3 years and then 17 years in the Reserve. So I retired as a lieutenant colonel from the Marine Corps. Went to Notre Dame undergraduate and then to a place called Catholic University out in Washington, D.C. for law school. And I was actually on the county board from 2010 to 2020. I lost an election in 2020, and I'm running to get back on the board. The last 2.5 years I was on the board, I was the chairman of the finance committee, and before that I was also chairman of health and human services. So I really enjoyed that. I felt like I was making a difference and helping people, and I want to get back to doing that.
Awesome. What specifically motivated you to run for DuPage County Board?
So I have tried to live my whole life based upon service. It's kind of why I joined the Marine Corps. My father, I was lucky enough to have my parents pay for my college and my law school. But I feel like, and I always, when people greet me and ask me how I'm doing, I always say the same thing: better than I deserve, which is true. We don't think of it that way, but we're gifted amazing things by being here in this country, to be in this town, to have the things that I've had, the parents that I've had, and I feel there's an obligation to give back to society and to give back any way we can. So I joined the Marine Corps knowing that that would delay my other career as an attorney, but I wanted to serve. I wanted to put myself out there, and so that if I was ever in a position where I had to lead, I can say that I took that risk myself. And it's the same reason I wanted to be on the county board, was to try to help people, to continue to serve, since I retired from the Marine Corps right around the time I got elected to the DuPage County Board. And then this cycle, I was sort of, after 2020, I was going to possibly hang it up, but with people coming to me from the county, senior leadership on the county, saying, Bob, we really need you. Things are a little disorganized here. The finance committee that I used to run was in a little bit of disarray. And so senior people asked me to come back and run again. And that tugged at my heart. And I said, if you need me, I'm going to try to do it again. So I did.
Now, if you were elected, what are one or two goals that you would hope to accomplish during your term?
Well, so I hope to get back into being the finance chair if things shake out the right way and my party gets the majority and control of the chairmanship. Then I'll be able to do that, and I'd love to resume that role as finance chair. I've looked at what's been going on with the finances of the county. I'm concerned that while there's a lot of money right now, a lot of that money comes from federal government money because of the COVID crisis. They've gotten hundreds of millions of dollars. That money's not going to be there forever. And there's a lot of money that, because the sales tax revenue jumped up the last year or two. And that's fine, but I think that the county board has committed a lot of spending that's going to continue year after year after year. And so there's going to be a time when there's going to be a recession. We know that, because it's not me being a psychic. We just know that's going to happen. And when that happens, sales tax revenue takes a dive. The county is very dependent upon sales tax revenue to pay its bills. And when you have 8% inflation, you have police officers and county staff that want to get paid, it costs more every year to do things. And the only way to control that is to roll up your sleeves day in and day out and say, how can we do things in a more cost-effective and more efficient way? And if you don't commit to doing that when there's good times, then when the bad times hit, you're going to have a problem, and you're going to have to radically cut staff and cut services. And I don't want that to be the way we run our government. So I think I can lend that leadership to the county board and when I get back on there.
Yeah. Now, a quarter of students at Wheaton South High School are considered low income. I would imagine this number could grow with the current inflation crisis. What are your specific plans to provide assistance to low income and disadvantaged families in DuPage County?
So that's a great question, and I think the point about inflation is a good one. There is some poverty in the county, and we have worked through the private agencies. We've tried very hard to partner. The county can't just pay for everything. First of all, the scope of county government is limited. Our ability to raise real estate taxes is limited by state law. So we have to figure out what we can do within our means. And there are other levels of government that do provide that assistance. But by partnering with the private sector, we're able to help people. Now, when you mention inflation, what's one of the big driving factors of inflation is government costs. Look at all the money that's been spent the last couple of years by the federal government. That's what's driving inflation now. So if we don't get those costs under control, inflation is going to continue to drive people into poverty. It's all well and good for somebody to get a 3% raise, but if it's 8% inflation, they've lost 5% of their ability to spend. And it also drives up real estate taxes. And when those real estate taxes are driven up, then more and more families can't afford to live in the area where they want to live and raise their families where they want to raise their families. And they're not just any family, but our first responders and people like that, our firefighters, our police, they have to have a place to live as well. But if their real estate taxes are so high because county government keeps expanding and expanding, they're not going to be able to afford to live near where they work. And that's not a good thing.
And now finally, is there anything else you would like to share with the voters?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you guys. I think you hear a lot in the news about get out the vote, get out the vote, get out the vote. And it's very important that your generation gets out there, gets engaged, and get involved. But there's more to going out and being a good citizen than just going out to vote. It's learning what you're voting about, who you're voting for. And so I think the starting point for that, because you've probably talked to 1,000 candidates who will tell you, oh, I promised this, I promised that. That's all well and good, but do you believe them when they tell you those things? Because anybody can promise you anything. So to me, integrity, personal integrity is the most important asset that a politician has, that somebody has. Do you believe them when they talk to you? And I've lived my life trying to serve. I chose not to take the pension that was offered for this county position because I thought it was wrong. There's already a significant salary, and then to take a pension on top of that for a part-time job and make the taxpayers bear that burden further, I thought was wrong. So I don't take this job for my benefit. I take it to continue to serve. And that's what I believed in. That's what I'm always going to continue to believe in. But I thank you guys for taking the time to do this. This is important. And stay engaged. You're going to be the generation that takes us over. I'm getting old. So we need you guys to be the next generation to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.